Unocoiners to another one of power-packed EMA session with Unocoin and Unocoin's president Sunny Ray. Hi Sunny, how are you doing today?
Hey Shambhavi, I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm great, and I'm very excited, like always, for our AMA sessions. And today is one of my favorite topics and your favorite topics that we have to discuss about. First of all, Sunny, you're looking very different today. What is it about? You're all dressed up for this.
I'm dressed up for you. No, I don't know. I lately I've gone through a metamorphosis. I think you liked one of my tweets about my new morning
Mhm.
routine. So it's kind of got to do with that. I don't know. I've had a shift in perspective, Shambhavi, in the last 3 months. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it comes down to essentially I've been waking up super early and working out and I don't know how to say this, but like it's kind of obvious, but I'm surprised it never struck me before that it's important to do this. Um, but okay, so this is essentially, I mean, I know we're going on a bit of a detour, but like I essentially made a list of everything that I enjoy doing. And like, for example, yoga, meditation, journaling, working out, swimming, and 40 or 50 other things like that. And I've started doing them every morning. So, but the only you can't wake up like half an hour before your meeting and do it, obviously. So I've been getting up what I call stupid early. Today, I woke up at 4, I think, or 4:30, and that
Oh,
was really late. That was like me sleeping in. So normally, I've been trying to get up at much sooner, like around like 3 some days,
oh
yeah.
my
And then I wake up and I start doing all these things, and one of the byproducts has been me just like wanting to dress more nicely. I don't even know where it comes from. I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'd like to say, I don't know, I feel like I'm changing, like I'm super
Age is always
organized and
good.
clean
For
and
me,
yeah, everything. Yeah, go ahead.
I personally feel with working out, when you start feeling good about your body, dressing comes along with it. You just want to wear all sorts of clothes. You want to see what is looking good on you. You just want to experiment. And I think this just comes with working out. You just feel good about your body.
Yeah, because we talk a lot about like Bitcoin and how amazing it is, but we never talk about like how do you earn Bitcoin? Like how do you position yourself so that you can make more Bitcoin in your life, right? And sometimes I think it's like it's kind of an obvious one or maybe not so obvious, but I think it's like have you ever heard the saying? It's like, once I'm successful, then I'll be happy. That's kind of the
Mhm.
thing. It's like once I get married, or once I have this business, or once I get this job, or once something happens, or the weekend comes, or once the holiday comes, then I'll be happy. But I've learned that the opposite is actually true, which is that happy people are much more likely to become successful than success leading to happiness. And so I don't know, it was like this epiphany. It was like, wait, so I can wake up, if I wake up a bit early, I can ensure that every single day I'm happy, no matter what, the external circumstances are or what's happening in the world. I can ensure that I'm happy. And it's, I'm not gonna lie, again, these things take a bit of time. They're not like you'd start doing them and tomorrow, it's like change. But I've seen literally like profound changes in the last 3 4 months. Like my body for sure. I feel like I'm in the best shape I've ever been. And I don't know if you remember, but when I came to India last year, I had like this back issue where I just woke up one day and I couldn't move. I had to cancel my ticket to India and stuff. It was really devastating. But I realized during that time is that, wow, your health really is like super important. Like everything else is important, but it's like if your health deteriorates, it's kind of like everything else becomes very moot or like secondary or almost inconsequential. So yeah, so I don't know, that's kind of, I don't know, maybe a bit of a long answer in terms of, but I encourage other people to try this too. Just start waking up early and spend your best hours on yourself. Yeah, like your most like awake, energetic, on yourself, not on your company you work for or your family. Yeah, but I don't know, I guess that brings us to our favorite topic, right, of Bitcoin. What are we going to talk
Absolutely,
about today?
absolutely,
Hodling?
Sunny. Yeah, I think the word itself is, I was reading it somewhere. Actually, I used that in one of my videos recently about crypto industry and Bitcoin lovers, Bitcoin maximalists as a whole. So these terminologies, these slangs that we use in the community, the kind of ideologies we have, this kind of makes us a whole different world altogether. It's not really like a common person. You talk to a common person and you say, oh, I've been hodling Bitcoin for so long. They'll be like, don't you mean like holding? So this happens. And I think one of the advantages of holding Bitcoin long term is that you get into a whole different world. Like it becomes a part of your personality, isn't it?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and you're right though. I think there do all these kind of terminologies do creep up, and sometimes it's hard to figure out like what are people even saying or doing, and it's both good and bad. It's good because the people on the inside feel like I know what these people are talking about, but people on the outside look at us a bit funny. But I think the term hodling, I mean, it comes down to I think someone made a mistake in a blog post
Yes,
or something
yes,
like
yes.
that a long time ago, and they literally just misspelt the word holding Bitcoin, right, long term, and I think they spelt it into hodling or something, and then ever since then it kind of stuck. But hodling, the notion of hodling is essentially buying Bitcoin and holding on to it for dear life. And obviously things like life do come up and people do need to sell. But ideally the goal is to strive towards, holding your Bitcoin forever. That's kind of
Yes.
what hodling is about. And I think, I don't know, yeah, like you said, I think it does change your perspective, right? When Bitcoin comes about, because yeah, it puts your priorities into perspective, right? Like the fiat system, if you have $100 or 100 rupees, it devalues over time. So it's hard to like say, okay, I want to make lots and lots of rupees because it's literally being devalued, right? So wouldn't it be nice to save in something that couldn't be devalued, like gold, right? And
Yes.
that's why gold has kind of, it's such like a cultural thing in India where people really respect it and love it, and it's kind of made its way into every facet of life because people recognize that, hey, you can't just print gold out of thin air. You need to, it takes a lot of energy and time to mine it out of mountains or whatever. And Bitcoin is kind of a digital gold, as people say, right? So it's got characteristics like gold, where it's limited in nature. It's there's only so many of them, right? And I would argue even more limited. But it's also superior to gold in the sense that you can zap it across the world or wherever instantaneously. It's censorship resistant, like we always talk about. It's open source and has all these other qualities, which make it decentralized, obviously. So there's no central point of control. Yeah, and despite I guess all the noise in the crypto space, India, abroad, FTX and Luna and now CZ, Bitcoin keeps marching forward. It doesn't care about anybody or anything. It does its thing, and that's the beauty of it. It's kind of like it's just
Absolutely,
mathematics.
absolutely agree. So we have a question here from Malika Arjun. He's asking, what is your investment goal? As you said, everybody should have a goal.
Hmm. Okay, what is your investment goal? As you said, everybody should have a goal. That's a good question. That's a good question. So I think it's important to have goals, number one. But I also don't know of how important it is to, let's say, just be public with your goals. Like, I almost feel like part of the secret of like manifesting and all that is kind of, keeping it to yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like keeping your goals to yourself. And so I don't share, what my goals are publicly, but I've recently, I will share that I've upgraded them and I've updated them. And see, Shambhavi, would you believe that you have some innate ability to manifest, like to make something
I do
come true?
believe, I'm a big time believer.
You do believe that, right? And I think all of us, to some extent, have this deep down belief that we can make the invisible visible, right? And and maybe on this live stream today we talk about this stuff because it's like, why not, right? Like, it's our live stream, and let's talk about something a bit different. Like, everyone knows 21 million Bitcoin, open source, and instead of being like a broken record, let's let's at least talk about what I think is the process of manifesting. Like, let's say you want to have 10 Bitcoins or 100 Bitcoins or 1 Bitcoin or 0.01 Bitcoin, and that's your goal. How do you get there? How do you get there? Now, I'm not going to lie. While I'm not really keen on sharing the specifics of my goal, I am very keen on sharing the process by which I think manifestation occurs. And I've kind of gone deep into it. Yeah. Oh my God. It's just the thought of it gets me so excited. I'm just trying to think where to go. So, first step is you need a clear intention. Yeah. So, imagine you're driving somewhere and you don't even have a destination. How are you going to get there? Like, even if you got there, you wouldn't even know you got there, right?
Mm.
So the first step that that I've finally taken very, very seriously, and I've known about these things, but I only 3-4 months ago did I get really serious about it, is what is your intention? What is your goal? Right? Like, maybe it's to become a millionaire, maybe it's to save $10,000 or 100,000 rupees or something, right? Whatever, but you need to have a number, okay? And so recently I've been asking myself this, is that I also have the power to manifest. I have car, business, president, kids, family. And in many ways, you could look at someone like me and be like, oh, Sunny's already manifested everything that most people would want. But I don't think it ends there, right? And then the question that I've been asking myself is how do I 10x my ability to manifest? How do I 100x my ability? How do I collapse the time frame between thought and manifestation? How do I manifest much grander things? Such things that once I manifest them, there will be no doubt around the people who know me, at least, that wow, Sunny's really figured this life thing out. And I started thinking about wild things, like things that I'd never thought about, like private jet, 3 mansions, 10 supercars, right? Like, just crazy stuff. And I'm not even close to there, by the way. But I've put that intention out there in a very clear way. And so again, first step is to have a clear intention, right? And for many of us, that might be like a specific number of Bitcoin, might be $1, might be a rupee amount, but having a clear number and visiting it often is step number 1. Okay, so a couple of things I'll mention is that I've also realized that, like, most of us are only using about maybe 5% of our brain when it comes to manifesting, right? And it's this part of our brain that we call our conscious brain. It's like the part that, can see, hear, touch, feel. Like, right now, we're using our conscious brain to a large extent. And there's something else. It's called the subconscious. Okay. And the subconscious is it's kind of like when I'm driving a car, I'm not thinking about driving a car, right? Or when I'm doing some math, like if you say 2 plus 2, I don't have to think about 2 plus 2. If you say 73 plus 890, okay, I have to think about it. I have to use my conscious mind. But there's a lot of stuff like breathing and walking and lots of stuff that the subconscious just takes care of. So, and the subconscious is very, very powerful from what I've heard. And it essentially has this capacity to allow us to manifest. And so the question is, how do you tap into this subconscious, right? How do you make Bitcoin? How do you earn Bitcoin? Yeah. And what I've learned is that a couple of things is, number one, when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing that you do? What's the first thing most people do? Let's not talk about you. What do you think most people do when they wake up?
Check the phone.
I'll give you a hint. I don't have my cell phone here. Okay. They take out their, I bet you 9 out of 10 people take out their cell phone and start doom scrolling. Yeah. Yeah. Like, maybe they're in the washroom or they're eating or something and they're just phones out. And where are
I
they
think the
going?
first activity itself is to, like, you wake up with your alarm that is set in your phone. So first activity itself is to look at the phone, check the time, maybe switch off your alarm. That is my first activity of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And then because your phone's in your hand, most likely, and again, if you don't do this, you're ahead of the game. But if you're anything like me, and Sunny, let's say 3 months ago, I would pick up the phone and start doom scrolling into Twitter, right? Because I love Twitter. Okay, But guess what? Now I've got the Israeli war and I've got the COVID and I've got all this like crazy stuff that I have no control over bombarding my brain first thing in the morning. Yeah. And that first 5 minutes is very precious. So as you're waking up in the morning and as you're about to fall asleep, those 5 minutes literally, they're so important. Because if, let's say, before going to bed, you're on the phone doing this, right? What's going to happen? You're going to fall asleep and you're going to just have nightmares about all the bad things that's happening in the world. And your ability to manifest, whether again it's Bitcoin, whether it's hodling, whether it's your mansion or whatever, dissipates to almost zero. So what I'm trying to say is the one big thing I realize is that what you do in the first 5 minutes of your day and the last 5 minutes of your day are paramount. So I don't even recommend that you look at the Bitcoin price or the Bitcoin news or anything like that. I recommend that you look at your dreams and your goals. So one thing I've done, and by the way, I know some people might be like, oh, what's this? These guys are on Unocoin podcast talking about this weird stuff. I don't even care. Whatever. We've done the other stuff. Let's talk about something like important. Like to me, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you actually
Something
earn
more
Bitcoin?
intellectual, something more, deep.
Yes, and let's try it. Like I said, even if no one else joins or enjoys it, maybe at least you and I will get something out of it.
But
So
I think
first
our
step,
audience today, I'm sorry to interrupt you,
yeah.
but I'm sure our audience today is also enjoying this because honestly, from this daily dose of gyan, we get this everywhere. Like, you open your Telegram, you have signals coming in from different, different traders, different influencers, different communities basically. Then you open some other thing, you have some other gyan coming in. You open the TV, there's news channel going on, there's some other stuff. So absolutely, it's high time that we take some time off and think about these things, like in what way are these affecting us and how can we gain a control over it. After all, Bitcoin is all about decentralization and gaining control over your own things. So I mean, if you could relate.
Am I still good? Like, sorry, I just had a lost connection thing pop up. Am I good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Let's take a little bit of a step off the beaten path and talk a little bit about this because to me, this is the most important thing. And I've seen again a profound change in my personal life in the last 3 to 4 months since I've been practicing what I'm about to share with you guys. Yeah. So first is, and I haven't publicly talked about it either. So I'm kind of excited to do this. And again, we'll dovetail into Bitcoin and wallets and what we use, right? But like again, I think I'm pretty sure a lot of people are excited about the concept of how do I get Bitcoin? How do I get my hands on money and more money, right? And again, I think it's like this thing that's kind of subtle, and most people don't want to talk about it because it's kind of awkward. But I feel like again, okay, so let's go back to it. So waking up in the morning, first thing is obviously not doom scrolling, but you need to replace that habit with something better. So most people have not written their goal. So by the way, there's a book called Think and Grow Rich. Have you ever heard of it?
Sorry.
Yeah. Think and Grow Rich. Have you ever read this
Yeah,
book?
absolutely. I mean, I've seen verses from it. I haven't read the book, but I've seen the verses from it.
It's an excellent book. It's an excellent book. It's after the Bible. I think it's the most sold book like on planet Earth or something like that. Yeah, and like nonfiction book. But that book, Napoleon Hill, it was written a long time ago. He studied like 500 people, like Alexander Graham Bell, Henry Ford, all these like super famous, rich, wealthy Edison, and people who invented the light bulb, and all these people. Andrew Carnegie is the one who actually helped him kind of get off the ground. But he wrote this book, and a lot of the things I'm talking about are actually from that book. Yeah. So if anybody actually wants to go deep into these concepts, they can pick up Think and Grow Rich. And it's a book I recommend people read over and over again because it is truly magical. And the concept is this, is that thoughts are things. Thoughts are things that what you think and what you feel, you become. Okay. So I have a lot to share, but I want to get to kind of the heart of my big aha moment. Okay. So wake up in the morning. if after, so while you're kind of getting up, I think visiting your goals, super key. So what I've done, Shambhavi, is I now have a photo album in, like an album in my photo, whatever, my phone app, where I've saved pictures of my dream home, of my dream car, of my dream jet, of my dream body that I want, my dream everything. Whenever I see something that resonates, I throw it in there. And so when I wake up in the morning, instead of going to Twitter and killing myself, I go there. Okay, and I insert these images of where I'm going, yeah, first thing in my brain, and soon after that, meditation. Meditation, I think it's from India, right? I mean, a lot of people in India meditate. It's become a global phenomenon now, but meditation for me is so important. And it's something that I always kind of wrote off as this like esoteric, like spiritual, religious thing, and there's not much scientific basis for it. I was wrong. I was wrong. In fact, this is my favorite book. It's called, I'm reading this in slow motion. It's called Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And this book's completely changed my life. So, and he explains the science behind all of this. Yeah. And pretty much, so meditation. So what is meditation? It could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but essentially it's about focusing on one thing. It's not about focusing on nothing. It's about focusing on one thing. Yeah. Have you ever meditated?
I do actually, Sunny. Like I said, I'm a big time believer, and this is a part of my routine.
Yeah. Yeah. So first step is meditation. And if you've never meditated before, the easiest thing I can suggest is just focus on your breath. Yeah. So sit down, close your eyes, and and all you're trying to do is just like kind of calm yourself down so that your mind's not running a mile a minute, right? Like, have you ever had, when you close your eyes for meditation, your mind's just racing and it's like, it's like freaking out. It's thinking about what happened yesterday, what it's going to happen tomorrow.
I mean, with meditation, from what my experience has been, because, now that I'm working, the other stuff, there are a lot of things that, that come along. So when I started, I think with this, when you start meditating, all of these things will just hop into your head. They'll be there, and, they'll just keep circling around your head. So I think it's like, there's a bucket full of something. You are turning on the tap of meditation. And by the time it overflows and removes all the previous stuff that's in existence, it takes a bit of transitional mode over there. So I think it's a process. Like, this is how it has been for me. It can be different for different people.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it's like. And here's the thing is like, so meditation, ideally, you're focusing on one thing, right? Breath tends to be the one thing that most people focus on, but it could be a candle, it could be a spot on the wall, it could be any one thing, right? But as you're kind of calming yourself down, you're focusing on your breath, it's very natural for your mind to start shifting towards other topics. Yeah, you'll start thinking about what happened yesterday. Oh, the Bitcoin price is up, it's down.
Sunny, I
Um,
hate to interrupt
and
you on this. I'm so sorry. We're having a very good chat, but I feel like a few of our viewers are getting restless with their questions. We are having them back to back. So should we do this
Okay.
and we'll
Well,
continue?
let's answer. Let's answer. Yeah. What is your investment goal? It's very big. Yeah. And it comprises of lots of Bitcoin. Do you have a secure wallet and backup after Binance? It's hard to trust. Wow, that's a good
Mhm.
question. That's a good question. Assad, yeah, sorry, before I go off on it, but I haven't gotten to the main part, and I'm gonna come back to that, yeah. Because like I feel like that again, if someone had told me that 5 years ago, anyways, I think things would be yeah. Okay, so but do you have a secure wallet? Look, the most secure way to secure Bitcoin is to hold your own Bitcoin, is to take Bitcoin off of an exchange like Binance. And if you have, my favorite is Cold Card. I've used Trezor, I've used Ledger. Those are the three most popular. If you're serious about Bitcoin and you don't want to ever lose it, you need to buy a hardware wallet. And that is, from my understanding and from most people understanding, the most secure way. If you've got a lot of Bitcoin, then you want to look at things like multi-signature, and where you can use a Cold Card and a Trezor and a Ledger, all three in conjunction, to secure your wallet, where you can have your mom who lives on the other side of the world and your friend, like you could literally make it so that you have like a Fort Knox. Yeah. So short answer is hardware wallet. Now, when you have a hardware wallet, when you buy your Bitcoin, let's say at a place like Unocoin, you need to also ensure. Hey, are you there or did I lose you?
No, I'm absolutely. I'm listening to you.
Yeah, sorry, it just froze. It froze. And that when you need to make sure you work with an exchange that allows you to withdraw your crypto or your Bitcoin. So keep in mind, a lot of the companies in India now, they shut off crypto withdrawals. So that's not a good thing, obviously. And so Unocoin, we've never shut off our withdrawals in 10 years. Next year is going to be our 10-year anniversary. So highly suggest getting a hardware wallet. Yeah, that's the answer to that question. In Bitcoin we trust, but still, do you have a diversified investment? Yes, you need to have a diversified investment, and I do, and most people do. But I'm obviously, I believe in Bitcoin, and so my goals are comprised of like, I see Bitcoin as a method to saving, right? And I don't see many other things that can compare to Bitcoin. So I see Bitcoin as a savings tool, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't invest in stocks and gold and homes and whatever else, you want to go after. Yeah. So we're up saying, after innovation of BRC20 tokens, the transaction fee of Bitcoin becomes very high. So when Unocoin launched Lightning Network for transactions, wow, what a great question. We launched Lightning. No,
Yes,
Shambhavi?
we did very recently.
We just did we have we written a blog post about it?
Yes,
Have
yes,
we
everything
promoted
is
it yet?
there, and every social media communication has also been sent. But you don't have it in your app right now, so you'll have to use our website for it. We're working on it, and soon it will be integrated with the application as well.
So there you go. Use our web application for now. But the other, like the native app, that's also coming, and you'll have Lightning. So Lightning is now enabled within Unocoin. We're very, very excited about that. And Lightning obviously makes it cheaper and faster. When Unocoin unable Bitcoin Lightning Network, as it requires okay. So again, short answer is we do have Lightning. Yeah, does that answer those questions? Can I go back to my rant?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I have to share this with you. Yeah. Okay. So long story short, you've woken up in the morning, ideally early, right? Why? Because if you wake up 5 minutes before your meeting, you can't dress up, you can't meditate, you can't do yoga, you can't visit your goals, you can't work out, you can't do anything. So wake up early. And that's, I know, very obvious, and your mom tells you that, but it's like literally the most profound thing. And by the way, the trick to waking up early is to go to bed early. I feel like a dad. I am a dad, but I feel like a dad right now. Go to bed early, wake up early, right? But trust me, try it. It is the best. Like, I'm getting all my friends to do this now, and every single one of them, they're like, "Oh my God, my life has changed. This is amazing." Like, every single one of them. Okay, it's simple. But now here is the kicker. So you've woken up early. You've inserted, these like positive whatever images of where your vision is. You've meditated for maybe a few minutes, just calm yourself down. And by the way, when your mind runs away from you, most people give up meditation at that point. They think, I can't do this. I can't think of nothing. I'm terrible. No, when your mind gets away from you, you're doing it right. Like that. And you caught your mind getting away from you. That means you're doing it right. You're on the right path. And what you need to do now is just get your breath back to where you're focusing on your breath. And don't get up and don't touch your phone and don't run off and do that thing that your mind is trying to tell you. Just sit for those 2-3 minutes. Okay, so now you're kind of a bit calmer. And now is the most amazing part. You start, and by the way, I have like free Spotify like soundtracks and stuff that I can share with people if they're really interested, that you can listen to someone who's telling you how to visualize. But I started, Shambhavi, doing something recently that is insane. It's called visualization. And it turns out that everybody does this. Kobe Bryant does this, Wade does this, Michael Phelps does this. Every martial artist that's at the top of their game, every business owner that's at the top of their game does this. Everybody does this except old Sonny. Yeah. What visualization is you close your eyes now, you've just meditated, and now you start visualizing your ideal outcome. So if your ideal outcome is to have 10 Bitcoins, you imagine as if though you have,
There's a
help me
comment.
getting up early will not help me in long term. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Okay, unless you sell, but still, all right. Okay. Yes, it will. I guarantee you it will. It'll help you with hodling. Yeah, because what does hodling mean? Before you think about selling, you have to buy, you have to get Bitcoin. But I promise you, most people right now are struggling with that. We talk about hodling as if though it's obvious. Oh, you're gonna hodl Bitcoin, never sell. But how do you earn the Bitcoin? I used to be a financial advisor a long time ago, and I found that most people are drowning in debt, mortgages, credit card, this, that. So here you and me are talking about, hodling. But people are like, I can't even get out of the mess that I'm in. And so the way to get out of the mess is I'm telling you right now how to get out of that mess. Okay. This is it. Then you start visualizing your ideal outcome. So if it's to hodl 10 Bitcoin, imagine as if though those 10 Bitcoins are in your ledger wallet or coin card wallet. Okay. If it's to have a million rupees in your bank account, imagine that. If it's $1 million, whatever that number that you're going after, 100 million, 250 million, whatever, you imagine it. And you start visualizing yourself living in that, because you already looked at the pictures of your dream home. You've already looked at the vacation. You've already looked at, and what is the best book to read for Bitcoin understanding? Mastering Bitcoin, yeah, and Bitcoin Standard. Those are the two best books. So I'll keep answering these questions, but I want to stay at the core of this. Okay. And now here's the main part. When you're in that world, that visualized world, you have to imagine as if though it's already done. Not, I want to get to this goal 10 years from now. But instead, you need to imagine as if though it's already complete. And here's the final part. You need to feel, okay? You need to feel what it feels like, Shambhavi, to be in that situation. So if, like, for example, your goal is to have 10 Bitcoins, what does it feel like to have 10 Bitcoins? Yeah. Like what would be different in your life if you were, let's say you had a home, you had a car, you had 100 Bitcoins. What would it feel like? What would you do if you were in that situation? Would you help your friends? Would you help your mom? What would you be doing?
I mean, if I had everything, honestly, my idea, I'll tell you what, my ideas are not these little goals to have a house, to have a car, to have all of these
What is
amenities in
it?
my life. My goal is to make more money and then use that money to make more money and then use that money to make more money. With all of these money happening around me, whatever amenities I'll need at any point of time, I can get that. So my idea is
But
investment,
why?
reinvestment, and
But
reinvestment.
why? Why? Okay, so you want to make money, use money to make more money, but why? Like what will happen to you if you make more Bitcoin? Like
I mean,
what will you
I'll be
feel?
rich.
Huh? You'll be rich,
I'll
but
be
what would that feel like? Feel like abundance? Would it feel like you'd be more
You feel like a
free?
lot of power. So, Sunny, like if it were for my personal thing, growing up, I've had everything. Like my father, my family, they have given me everything. But the only thing that I've not had in my life, call it maybe being as a girl, being maybe at a young age, I never had control over my life. So my whole idea of getting independent or earning my own money was to be independent, so that I have the
Yeah,
control over my own life. With money, I feel like I have this control over my own life. So
exactly.
that is me,
Exactly. Control. And that control, would you believe that it will give you more freedom? Like to do
Yeah,
whatever you please. I'm going to Europe. I'm packing my bags. I'm whatever.
yeah.
Or yeah,
Skedaddles.
but that feeling that you would feel once you get to your goal, you need to connect with that feeling. Do you follow me? See, right
Yes,
now, the feeling you have, most likely that the old Sunny had, and that most people listening to this, is the feeling of I want more Bitcoin, correct?
yes.
Well, guess what? When you send the vibe of I want more Bitcoin to the universe says, great, you want more Bitcoin? Keep wanting Bitcoin. Are you
Mhm.
following me? This is important. So when you say to the universe, I want more Bitcoin, the universe says, or God, right? Or whoever you want to call it, says, you like wanting Bitcoin. keep wanting it. I'll keep giving you the circumstances to keep wanting it because you're very good at wanting it. But when you say, I am a Bitcoiner, I am a millionaire, I am a billionaire, or whatever your goal is, and you feel that abundance and you feel that love and freedom and control, or whatever that, whatever you are, and you can literally feel it at a cellular level, something crazy happens. And I'm going to tell you what happens. You start to become that Shambhavi. Do you follow? You start to become, at a molecular level, at a scientific level, at a spiritual level, at a quantum level, at an electronic level, at an electrical level, at a mechanical level, at every single level. Your body, your subconscious mind does not know the difference between past, present, and future. And it starts to believe that Shambhavi is that person with this abundant mentality. And when you become that which you seek, everything changes. Everything changes. What changes? The very fabric of who you are changes, right? And when you open your eyes from that visualization, guess what? You just became. So you're no longer seeking. Why would you seek something that you have? See, the reason you want 10 Bitcoins, the title of this, long-term hodling, the reason people want to hodl 10 Bitcoin, 100 Bitcoin, whatever it is because they want a feeling. Do you agree with me? What you just said, I want to feel like a control. I want to feel, right? Or I want to feel abundance. You're doing all of this for a feeling. What I'm telling you is you can close your eyes and give yourself that feeling. But here's the thing is, once you give yourself that feeling, it's the most empowering thing ever, because now you open your eyes and you're like, I can go to that place just by closing my eyes. And I just spent the last half an hour feeling what it would feel like. So you're opening eyes and you're not anchoring to the Israeli bombing situation and Ukraine and inflation and COVID. Instead, you're anchoring to your best self. You're anchoring to that Shambhavi. You follow me? So the piece that I never got the memo, and anybody who's hearing this, I'm telling you guys right now, and I believe this to be more important than anything I've ever come across, is that number one, come up with a clear intention of what your goals are. I don't care what it is. And it doesn't matter even what it is. Just come up with a number, come up with a goal, come up with some pictures of your home. Even if you're not into homes, just find a picture of a penthouse or something, Bombay, whatever, and just put it in your thing. You lose nothing. It'll take you the same amount of time and energy to look at the bombing and the Twitter and all the BS going on in the world as it does to remind yourself of who you wish to be. Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to keep going, but I've also, I see there is one. Yeah. We have another question. With Bitcoins, we can bring down the puppets who think they are running us. Yes. With Bitcoins, we can bring down the puppets, but I feel like, I'll be honest with you, I feel like the transformation needs to happen within before even Bitcoin is a manifestation of like goodness and love and abundance. But guess what? If you haven't fixed your brain, if you haven't fixed yourself, if you haven't anchored yourself to your best self, and Shambhavi, I promise you, I do this every single day. I've been doing it for 3-4 months. And I've seen profound changes. Do I have my 5 mansions and my 10? No, I don't. I'll be very honest with you. But has my day become, number one, enjoyable? Every single day and every moment of every day I've started doing this has become amazing. Not to mention the results that I'm seeing on a day-to-day basis with projects I'm involved with, things I'm involved with. Again, I don't want to jinx it, but it has been miraculous. So what I'm trying to tell people out there is that, again, come up with your intention of where you're going, wake up early in the morning, insert those thoughts into your brain, and start feeling what it would feel like as if though you've reached your hodling goals. And I promise you, a month from now, 2 months from now, come back and tell us if you've gotten closer to your hodling goals. And I guarantee most people will. Whereas if you're just sending out the energy, I want Bitcoin someday, blah, 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 You'll just keep wanting it. Okay, we have another question. Someone's saying Bitcoin has speculative opportunities, not just 1% Bitcoin is for all global currency. Not just 1% Bitcoin is for all. So I don't know what that really means. Maybe I kind of
I
missed that
think,
before. Now maybe
like
rephrase.
Arjun, you can reiterate your question. It's a bit difficult to understand the structuring. So just reiterate it. You can also ask a question in Hindi. I'll translate it in English for Sunny and he'll answer it. So yeah, just reiterate it.
Okay, one more. I have to share that. So there's a if anyone has an iPhone, there's an app called Finale Habits, which I'm like addicted to. But just get a habit tracker. Shambhavi, get a habit tracker.
I
So my habit tracker, I think I've shown you this, but it looks like this. And I've listed so waking up early, sleep 8 hours, dream board, be grateful, review my to-do list, do my pranayam. I have like and all these things. Okay, so look at this is my habit tracker. I won't show everything, but notice how there's like 40 things. And when I
body
complete a
thing.
task on here, yeah, and people can start with 2 habits, 3 habits. Like for example, family time. Did you hear how it went ding and confetti flew everywhere? So my new addiction is not to Twitter or to Facebook or to Instagram. It's to my habits. So now, whenever I scroll on my phone, I go and check in my habit tracker. So, look, I know this is a very different kind of session than others,
Absolutely
but
so, not
like I
second.
said, I don't feel like just talking about cold cards and wallets and the technical aspects and the open source is going to get anyone anywhere because it doesn't speak to the core of like who we are and how we make the invisible visible. And in this
Absolutely.
case, like how do you get more Bitcoin in your wallet? And it starts with again taking control of your life, taking control of your mind, taking control of your thoughts, taking control of your situation, and then finding happiness first, right? Finding happiness first, not living in this state of stress and worry and panic, but instead finding happiness first and then building your day off of that. Yeah. So anyways, I wanted to share that Shambhavi more with you than anyone else, right? Just because we've been doing these calls twice a week. And
Actually, I was gonna suggest
yeah,
let's have a session around these things, like what can be your spiritual approach to finance or something like that. Like we can come up with something and we can have a nice session, maybe off the official thing, maybe on our Twitter handle,
yes,
like a spaces or something on a free day, something like that. So that over here, obviously we have a topic, we have things that people would want to discuss. Over there at least it's an open platform for us to discuss whatever we feel like discussing. And I feel like this is a very good approach to start with. I think most people lack this, but it is very crucial from the baby steps itself to know the right things. I remember as a kid, my mom always used to be like, "Why don't you wake up early?" And I could not wake up early as a kid. Now I do, because now I have my life, I have my goals. If I don't get up on time, if I don't get up on time, which means I won't be able to work out. I have to go to office anyways on time. I have to leave at a certain point of time, so I won't be able to work out. That thing is going to get missed out. Now my motivation to wake up early is to not miss my workout, and then of course coming back home on time so that I can cook and eat on time and then go to bed on time. So all of these things systemized, when somebody else is telling us about all of this, it's very vague, like, oh yeah, okay, maybe it worked for him. It's just a lot of laziness. Laziness has got a grip on us in a way that it's very hard for us as humans to get out of it unless and until we have something to achieve. But the moment you realize what you want to achieve, like you said, visualization, I think I saw it in, I don't know if you watched Lucifer. Lucifer is a web series, like not a web series, it's an American sitcom. Now it's on Netflix. Over there, there's a concept of self actualization. So whatever you
mm,
think, if you think your powers are gone, basically that's a story of angels and devils. If you think your wings are gone, your powers are gone, their powers would all they would actually go off. And I feel like I resonated with it when I was watching it, because I felt that the moment I feel like, oh, maybe I'm losing my self control, I'm losing my will to do something, I will. The moment I feel that no, I have to do this. This is what needs to be done. It's all to start, working out for me. So I really, really, really do believe in this visualization concept. That's why I suggested we can do, an unofficial like session, like what do we call it, uncut session or something like that on our Twitter handle.
Even if Unocoin started talking about this stuff, I wouldn't be against it, right? Like Uno means one, so I don't know. The word one has a lot of connotations to it, right? But like we are all one at the end of the day, and whether it's meditation and focusing on one thing or whatever. I mean, like ultimately we started Unocoin because we want to bring Bitcoin to billions of people, right? But how can people adopt Bitcoin if they haven't adopted themselves to some extent, like really fallen in love with who they are? And I cannot help but feel that like most of us are like just these bundles of like stress. We're stressed about our
It's
the
a
way we
rat
look
race.
and
It's
our
a rat race
money
we all
and
are running in.
right work and oh, this person said this, and then you have like the world of social media that's like literally killing us like day by day. Like
The amount of
I get
judgment in
nothing.
social media is insane.
And and now, like I said, I've really overcome my addiction to social media. And for like 10 years, 15 years, I've been just all day social media. And it has this weird, like, here's the social media thing, right? They make you feel like the concept of missing something, right? Because you're just scrolling, you don't even know what you're scrolling for. But that thought of missing out on something trumps your knowingness of what is valuable, like spending time with my kids. I know I'm going to have a good time and it's going to be great and it's awesome and it's good for them and good. I know that has value. But oh, what if I miss some bomb that's happening and and I need to know about it because it might happen here. It's like, stop it. Like, it's like, oh, earthquake. Oh, okay. And now you're thinking about, the earthquake, or rape, fire. It's like all the worst things in the world. Social media and the news, they gather and they platter. They give it to you in a silver platter. Like, here. Like, I don't need it. I don't need it. And if something really is going down, the people around me will tell me like, hey, have you looked into this, or something's about bad happen? Like, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm really touched by this. And like I said, I do a lot of things in the morning. I showed my habit tracker. I do this, I do that. But the two things that's had the most, I believe, the most outsized impact is number one, waking up early so that I have time for myself. Like not waking, and people say, oh, I'm a night person. So, no, it doesn't work because at nighttime, your energy is like, it's low. So you're going to go meditate when you're like barely even able to stay awake? Or you're going to go work out? No. And don't spend your best hours on Unocoin. Spend your best hours on you, right? Because only then will you be able to give Unocoin when you're full of love and energy and like you're like happy. Then can you come and say, okay, I'm gonna now give everything to this company or whatever project you're working on. And so I don't know, and I'm not gonna lie, I had it backwards. I always thought, no, I gotta work hard, success, and then someday when I'm 90 years old, it'll all come together and I'll have peace in my mind and in my heart. It's like, no, like wake up every morning, find that peace, find that love, and then enter your day with kind of like this fullness. And again, I can't think of a more appropriate message when it comes to how do you long-term hodl, Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is money and money is energy, right? And whether you're trying to manifest dollars, rupees, or Bitcoin, the process is actually the same. Like it's the same. So figuring out how to manifest money is, I think, the most important thing. And then once you figure that out, then now don't sell your Bitcoin, obviously, because Bitcoin's the best form of money that's ever been. So
Exactly.
Shambhavi, if you want to talk about this stuff formally, informally, whenever podcast, I'm down because I don't think people talk about this stuff, and it's a bit like hokey and this stuff is like, whatever, and it's weird, but no, it's like real. It's super, super real. Yeah.
Absolutely, Sunny. And on this note, I think, guys, if you liked this session today, because it was very different from what we usually do, hit the like button, let us know, and we are going to organize something like an unofficial session for you all, where it'll be more like a spaces where you can also speak, so that you can also have an equal share of participation in that. Do let us know, hit the like button, comment, and tell us if you want more of these. We will definitely come up with more of these. Okay, Sunny, I think this is a very good note to end our today's session on. I had I had an absolutely amazing session today. Thanks to you, and thanks to your transformative journey. That I'm glad I asked you that question about your dressing and your new look today.
Yeah, I kind of
You got
went
to know
off on
so
a
much more
tangent.
about this.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you did, and I really enjoy these conversations, Shambhavi. So hopefully people got something out of it. Yeah, a little bit different.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Sunny, for sharing so many nice insights. Thank you everyone for joining in. Do let us know if you want more of these. We'll come up with them again. For now, goodbye. We'll see you again next week.
Bye bye.